In this video lecture, we will discuss F.W. Taylor's scientific management theory. Frederick Winslow Taylor's scientific management theory. I will read out and explain every single line for the better understanding of this video. First of all, I am going to brief you about Taylor. Taylor, he was born on 20th March, 20 March 1856, and he died on 21st March 1915. He was an American who started his career as a machinist in Midwell Steelworks, Philadelphia, and gradually through his hard work and progress rose to the position of the chief engineer. He introduced his observations and experiments based on scientific data. So, we must understand the term scientific. Here, the term scientific refers to the decisions which are taken based on some logical decisions, and after the careful examination, we take some decisions that are called scientific decisions. Taylor's approach towards management is termed as scientific management. For this contribution in development of management thoughts, he is known as the father of scientific management. So, here we have a question for the exam. When you have multiple choice questions in your exam, you might be asked a question: who is the father of scientific management? You must remember it is F.W. Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor. Taylor's management theory is based on scientific experiments. It means decisions are taken based on some reasons, some logic, after the careful experiments. This theory involves the application of scientific approach to decision making and solving them at the same time. According to Taylor, problems should be solved by scientific techniques rather than the rule of thumb and trial and error approach. It means decisions should be taken after applying some logic, some reasons, but not on the basis of trial and error approach. Trial and error here refers to those decisions which are taken and they involve some risk. But when we take decisions on scientific approach, they involve some logic. Definition of scientific management by Frederick Taylor. Scientific management consists of knowing what you. Here, you refers to management. So, what does management want men to do exactly, and seeing it that they do it in the best and the cheapest manner. Now, we have some principles of scientific management. So, we will see principles one by one. These principles are as follows. Point number one: science, not rule of thumb. In order to increase organizational efficiency, the rule of thumb method should be substituted with the methods developed through scientific analysis of work. So we should not apply decisions based on rule of thumb basis. That means they should not be based on the traditional approach. But our decisions must be based on scientific analysis of work. Scientific analysis involves science. Rule of thumb decisions are based on personal judgments of the manager. Taylor insisted upon scientific method for every small work. This principle is concerned with selecting the best way of performing a job after scientific analysis of that job and not by trial and error methods. So according to Taylor, we should not take risk. We should not apply our personal opinions and judgments. Rather, we should take decisions based on some logic. Standard required time and standard output should be defined by the manager. This will help in saving time and human energy. It will result into expected standard output. According to Taylor, even a small production activity like loading iron sheets into boxcars can be scientifically planned. So here we understood every decision should be scientific rather than any personal judgments or any personal experience. Point number 2, harmony, not discard. According to this principle, there should be harmony between the employees and the management. Here, harmony refers to the healthy relationship between employees and management. This coordination will help in minimizing conflicts between them. So when healthy relationship exists in the organization, there should not be any conflict. Perfect understanding between employees and management will be helpful in creating healthy work environment for achieving the desired goal, that is success. Organization should think about maximum prosperity of employees also. So it's a win-win situation. That means management should think about the employees also, and employees should devote their time and energy towards the success of any organization. Point number 3, we have mental revolution. Taylor introduced the concept of mental revolution. This principle focuses on change in the attitude of employees and management towards each other. Both should realize their equal importance in organization. They should give full cooperation for achieving goal of organization. This will increase productivity and profits. So we should not compete with each other. We should cooperate. We should extend help. We should extend support in the organization, because our ultimate goal is to achieve the objectives of any organization that we are working with. Point number 4, we have cooperation, not individualism. This principle emphasizes on mutual cooperation between workforce, that is employees and management. Due to cooperation, trust, team spirit, etc., internal competition will turn into healthy working environment. So any organization is expecting that there should be healthy working environment. Management should always consider the suggestions given by employees in decision making process. So management should consider that employees are the part of organization. They should be given some opportunities. They should be motivated. They should be encouraged to think and come up with some ideas, some opinions. Now, employees should be treated as an integral part of organization in all respects. At the same time, employees should resist themselves from going on strikes and making unnecessary demands from management. So it will reduce the chances of strikes and other unnecessary demands that generally come from the employee's point of view. They should treat each other as two pillars of organization. Point number 5, division of responsibility. Proper division of work should always be accompanied with division of responsibilities between the managers and employees. Major planning is done by the top and middle level management authorities, whereas employees are concentrating on its execution. The reporting is done as per the instruction given by their superiors. Managers should always help, encourage, and guide the employees. It helps for best performances of managers as well as employees. So we should divide the work amongst employees, and any division of work goes hand in hand with division of some responsibilities. So when this concept is there, it will lead to the achievement of our goals and objectives. Point number 6, we move on to next page. Development of employer and employees for greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. Best performance of any organization always depends on the skills and capabilities of its employees to a great extent. So human resources are the asset of any organization. When employees are motivated and when they are encouraged, it will give you the expected outcome. Thus, providing training and development programs to the employees whenever required is very essential. It ultimately affects the profitability of the organization. Each employee should be given proper opportunity to attain greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. Now, it was all about principles of scientific management. Now we have techniques of scientific management. This point can be skipped for this academic session since syllabus has reduced. So techniques of scientific management is not going to be there in the exam. So we move on to page number 12. So you will find here summary of the chapter is given. So I would suggest you must go through this summary, so it will help you to recollect each and everything properly. Then we have page number 14. A small exercise is given that you all are supposed to solve. This will be your first assignment for this subject. Thank you very much.